And it is the Lord Jesus that will save to the uttermost all those.
All right, I'm going to do some street preaching.
Him.
I've been making better content because all I have is video game content right now, and I want to have things on the YouTube that's real.
Yeah, that count for eternity.
Exactly.
Yeah, you might have to start deleting a few.
Maybe.
I
have over 1,300 videos right now, all in 1 year. All right.
Here, this has to be clipped.
Okay. There we go.
Okay, yeah, take about 5 minutes.
All right.
I can hold those
Yep.
for you. Yeah. Okay, they're on the box.
All right. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Steven. I was, for the longest time, unsaved. I sinned. I denied God. I said that I knew better than God. And for years, God allowed me to live in sin. And then, finally, in 2016, I gave a promise to God. I said, God, I will do no more drugs. I will seek the kingdom. And I promised this. And a few months later, I was in a major car accident. I almost died. If things were not good, if God was not looking out for me and my sisters, we surely would have died in that car accident. And I had glass in my face, in my right elbow. I had glass in my left hand, and I had no chance. I thought, wow, what's going on? They told me I was in a car accident, and they wanted to give me drugs. They wanted to give me morphine. And I said, no morphine. And they said, no, you have to take the morphine. And I said, no morphine. I will not take it. They made me sign the document saying that I was refusing. And then I went through the most painful experience of my life. I went through 6 hours of surgery. They removed the glass out of my face, my right elbow, and my left hand. And then the next day I woke up and they had covered the mirror because they were afraid that when I saw the mirror, I would have a mental breakdown because I looked like Two-Face from Batman. And they told me, Steven, you're in pain. Do you want the morphine now that you can think properly? I said, no morphine. And then when I was leaving the hospital, they said, we can give you a prescription for 60 morphine pills. And I said, I haven't accepted the morphine yet. Why do you keep offering it to me? And they said, well, it's because pain is tolerable, isn't it tolerable? And I said, no. I promised God no more drugs. And not long after that, I began moving my life forward. I suffered for 9 years. I still had a piece of glass stuck into my face. Within a month, they had pulled it out. And then not so long after that, they found another piece of glass. And they pulled that piece of glass out of me. And over time, I felt a giant pain in my right elbow. And sure enough, there was a piece of glass sitting on a nerve, pinching it. Some days I would wake up and my entire right arm would be numb. And other days I would wake up and my elbow would feel like it was on fire. And then there were other days I'd wake up and it would be a sharp pain. And I would pray, I'd say, God, take this pain away. And I didn't have any conviction. I said, oh, I'm doing what I said I'd do. It's good enough. And sure enough, it wasn't. And then finally last year, I got down on my hands and knees and I said to God, God, I will go to church. I will be born again. I will follow your teachings. I will preach your good name. And I will do everything I can to follow you into eternity. And sure enough, a week after I said that, I got a phone call. And the surgery that I had been waiting 9 years to get, they kept delaying it, saying, oh, you don't need it. It's not that important. I got a phone call saying that they would make the appointment on a closer date. So I prayed and I thanked God. I said, God, you've done so much good. I have faith in you. And sure enough, a few months passed And within that time period, I found a new place to live. And it was a kilometer away from my church that I go to now every Sunday. And I had so many problems. I had dropped a speaker on my toe, nearly breaking it, and I could barely walk. And I woke up the second day after the surgery. I had the surgery done on a Friday, and then on a Sunday, I woke up, and the first thought in my head was, "You're too tired to go to church, Stephen. You don't need to go to church. Just go to church next week. It's not that big of an importance." And it was Satan speaking in my voice in my head. And I almost passed out back to sleep. I was like, "Oh, I'm so exhausted. I got no energy. My foot hurts." And then something woke me up. And I got up and I walked all the way to church and I introduced myself and I said, "My name's Stephen." I spoke to Heinz, a good friend of mine now. At the time I did not know him. And I said, "I'd like to join the men's Bible study." And he said, "Well, we'll put a good consideration in and we'll talk, and if we accept you, we'll be allowing you in." And sure enough, I did what I said to God. I kept the promise, and God kept his promise to me. I reduced the pain, I reduced the suffering, and I followed God. And then in November of last year, I continued with my path with God, and I got baptized. And it was truly a remarkable experience. I wasn't sure if I was going to feel any different. I was confused and scared, but I prayed on it, and I told my pastor, I confessed my sins, and when I did, I felt a giant relief. And then I moved forward, and with the baptism, I got out of the water, and it felt like I was being awoken for the first time in years. And sure enough, I continued. I followed. I volunteer sometimes at my church when it comes to events, and other times I just join in with my church family, and I am happy to say that I feel the redemption of Christ. Some days I wake up and I'm sad, I'm depressed, and I feel like nothing's gotten better. And then I have to look back at my life last year and I went, wow, in 1 year my life has changed this much. And it wasn't on me, because I tried for 9 years and I failed. There was no success in it. I kept saying, "Oh, I know better. Oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do that." And it never worked out until I finally humbled myself and I promised God, and God knew that I was being truthful with him. And that's a big thing. If you pray to God and you're saying, "Well, God, I don't know if you're going to help me. I don't know if you're going to satisfy me. I don't know if you died for the cross for me, but I hope maybe." That doesn't please the Lord. The Lord looks at that and he sees it as false and shallow. He knows that it's just wagging of the mouth. You have to be convicted. You have to say that this is my new life. I'm not going back to sin. And if I go back to sin, I'm going to renounce it. I'm going to resist it. And I'm going to say, "God, this is what I did. I know I was wrong for doing it." And it's not easy. It's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. But I was there once. I sat there and Dale, you can ask Dale. I used to be one of the rude people. I used to say that I'm the smartest man in the world. And you know what? I'm not. I'm not even close. And I say to you that even though I don't know the words to say to speak to you, I hope that you will hear it and that you will find Christ like I found Christ. He does heal, he does save, and he's there for all of us no matter what we've done. The amount of times I've blasphemed, I've said, no, I can do what I want, and it never worked out. Never. Every day I feel blessed because I was saved not just once or twice, but thousands of times. I sinned millions of times probably in my last 35 years of life. And yet God saw it and said, "I'm giving you another chance, Stephen. I'm not going to condemn you to the hellfire. I'm going to let you speak the truth. I'm going to give you the words. And every day now, before I go to bed, I get down on my hands and knees and I pray to God. And when I'm done, I open my Bible with my eyes closed and I say, Lord, please give me the word. And I open it, and usually the first thing I see will be an answer to my prayer. Last night, I read the Bible again, and I thought, well, what am I going to see today? And I saw Jesus and the removal and God's forgiveness. You know, it's very easy to walk in sin. It's very hard to follow the narrow way and to find the truth behind the lies, because the lies are very deceptive and they're very appealing. You know, you can see a lie and it's easy because it feels good. You know, you see somebody do something and you say, well, you know, that guy got away with it. You know, if that guy got away with it, surely I can get away with it. And sometimes we do. Sometimes the devil will allow you to succeed in failure. You know, you'll fail in life, but you're succeeding with the devil. And that's not what God wants for us. God will seek to give us chance after chance after chance, but if you don't take the opportunity to accept that chance, then you're doomed. I was doomed. And I'm not condemning you. I'm not telling you, oh, you should feel bad. I'm saying this because I love and accept that Jesus forgave me, and I want you to find and feel the same. There's many times in life where you say, hey, this is okay. You know, it's not like it's a sin, only to find out that it turns out it's one of the gravest sins that you can achieve.